The author says, Surat Quraysh, the Qur'anic chapter called Quraysh. That's the name of a tribe, the Prophet's tribe, alayhi salatu wassalam. Makkiyah, it's a Meccan surah. وَهِيَ أَرْبَعُ آيَاتٍ. It consists of 4 verses. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. In the name of Allah, Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. لِإِيلَافِ Quraysh. For the custom of Quraysh. For the custom of Quraysh. So you should know that, that should be clear for you, that what I just said to you, that's not a complete sentence in itself. For the custom of Quraysh. That's similar to saying, in the name of Allah. Don't we say, when you say Bismillah, in the name of Allah, that there's something implied, like I start in the name of Allah, or I do such and such in the name of Allah. So likewise, li'ilafi Quraysh, for the custom of Quraysh. So something is implied. It needs to be linked to something. متعلق بقوله فليعبدوا. Imam An-Nasafiyy says it's linked to something that comes later. There's something that's coming that this is linked to. It's like this was advanced ahead of something that's really before it, which is فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. Let them worship the Lord of this house, for the custom of Quraysh. أمرهم أن يعبدوه لأجل إلافهم الرحلتين. According to that, Allah commands them to worship Him because of their custom of taking 2 trips per year. ودخلت الفاء لما في الكلام من معنى الشرط أي إن نعم الله عليهم لا تحصى فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. So let them worship. That's fa, means like so. Thus, so let them worship the Lord of this house. لِإِلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ. Because of the custom of Quraysh, which is their custom of taking 2 trips. وَدَخَلَتِ الْفَاءُ لِمَا فِي الْكَلَامِ مِنْ مَعْنَى الشَّرْطِ. And that fa there that I just translated as so or then, that's there because there's the meaning of a condition in there. أي إن نعم الله عليهم لا تحصى. The meaning is, indeed, the endowments of Allah are uncountable. فإن لم يعبدوه لسائر نعمه. So if they don't worship Him for any of His endowments, فليعبدوه لهذه الواحدة. Then at least let them worship Him for this one. التي هي نعمة ظاهرة. This endowment, which is a very obvious one. The endowment of their being accustomed to taking 2 trips per year. These 2 trips that sustain their livelihood. Oh, bima qablah. Or it's possible that this is linked to what's before it. Li'ilafi Quraysh. How could it be linked to what's before it? That's the first ayah of the surah. That would mean then it's linked to the surah before it. Surat Al-Fil, the elephant. أي فجعلهم كعصف مأكول لإيلاف قريش. Meaning that Allah made those Abyssinian soldiers yani perish, and they were left like they were just fodder that was excreted and eaten. لِإِيلَافِ Quraysh, for the sake of the custom of Quraysh. يعني أن ذلك الإتلاف لهذا الإيلاف. The meaning then would be that they were destroyed to, or for the sake of this custom, to preserve Quraysh. In other words, they were destroyed so to preserve Quraysh. وهذا كالتضمين في الشعر وهو أن يتعلق معنى البيت بالذي قبله تعلقا لا يصح إلا به. Imam An-Nasafiyy says, if you explain it this way, linking this first verse to the last verse of the previous surah, then that's similar to something done in poetry, which is to link one line of the poem to a previous line in a way that it's not valid to disconnect them. وَهُمَا فِي مُصْحَفِ أُبَيْ سُورَةٌ وَاحِدَةٌ. And it happens that these two surahs, Surat Al-Fil and Surat Quraysh, in the Mus'haf of Ubay ibn Ka'b, are written as one surah, bila fasl, with no separation between them. وَيُرْوَى عَنِ الْكِسَائِي تَرْكُ التَّسْمِيَةِ بَيْنَهُمَا. And it was even reported about Al-Kisa'i that he would recite these two surahs without a basmalah in between them. وَالْمَعْنَى أَنَّهُ أَهْلَكَ الْحَشَبَةَ الَّذِينَ قَصَدُوهُمْ. And so the meaning is that Allah destroyed those Abyssinians who targeted them. لِيَتَسَامَعَ النَّاسُ بِذَلِكَ فَيَحْتَرِمُوهُم. So that the people would hear all about that and then have respect for them. فَضْلَ احْتِرَامٍ. Then the people would have the highest respect for them. حَتَّى يَنْتَظِمَ لَهُمُ الْأَمْنُ فِي رِحْلَتَيْهِمْ. So that they would achieve security in their 2 trips every year. وَلَا يَجْتَرِئَ أَحَدٌ عَلَيْهِمْ. And so that no one would dare to come at them. وَقِيلَ الْمَعْنَى إِعْجَبُوا لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ. And it was said that the meaning is, so this is a third tafsir. So first tafsir that we mentioned is that لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ is linked to what's after that's coming. Second tafsir is لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ is linked to what's before it from the previous surah. Here's a third tafsir that لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ is linked to a verb that is implied. إِعْجَبُوا لِإِيلَافِ قُرَيْشٍ. Be astonished at the custom of Quraysh. And this was also recited li'ilafi, as opposed to li'ilafi. I've been reciting it for you with an extension. Li'ilafi Quraysh. It was also recited without an extension. Li'ilafi Quraysh. Then it means limu'alafati Quraysh. Then it means for the union of Quraysh, for the unity and the conformity of Quraysh. وقيل يقال ألفته ألفا وإلافا وقريش ولد النضر بن كنانة. And Quraysh is, so it's enough if I want to say a correct statement here without being too exact, but not wrong. Quraysh are the descendants of, the tribe of Quraysh descends from An-Nadr ibn Kinana. That's correct. سموه بتصغير القرش وهو دابة عظيمة في البحر. So it was said that Quraysh was named, firstly, the form of this word Quraysh is a miniaturized form. Tasghir. You learned about that in the obligatory knowledge. Like, didn't you learn that it's not permissible to miniaturize the name of a prophet? So you wouldn't say for Prophet Musa, Muwaisa, or Prophet Isa, Uwaisa, and so it means small Musa, small Isa. So if someone's name was Abid, then if you want to say small Abid, you'd say Ubaid, right? Or Jund or Jundi, soldier. A small one is a Junaid, or small army. So Quraysh is of that form, miniaturized form. So سموه بتصغير القرش. They named him after the Qirsh, but they miniaturized the form of that. Qirsh, as far as I know, means shark. I don't know if it's a particular shark though. وهو دابة عظيمة في البحر. It is a large beast of the sea. تعبث بالسفن. It plays with the ships. ولا تطاق إلا بالنار. And it can't be repelled except by fire. Explain what part, please. The miniaturization of the name. So you know Arabic language is a language of patterns. And these patterns, they have meanings. So you have root letters in Arabic. The root letters have their own meanings. Then you can apply these root letters to different patterns. And then the patterns have their meanings. So you put those two, the root letters with the patterns together, and then you get a meaning from the sum of that. Like when we talked about humaza, and then we said there's other words that have that pattern, lumaza and ukala, for example. So one form in Arabic is something called tasghir. Tasghir. That means to miniaturize, to make small. So you take a word, and if you apply it to the rules of miniaturization, then you'll change the form of the word. So say someone's name was Abid. Then if you miniaturize it, you'd say Ubaid. So Ubaid means small Abid. Can't you see how Ubaid has the same pattern of Quraysh? Like there's a name you know. You ever heard of Abu Hurairah? Has tap marbut on the end though for the feminine. Hurairah. Same sound. Hurairah, that's miniature form. But just feminine at the end there. Someone's name might be Junaid, like Al-Junaid Al-Baghdadi. Junaid, small Jund or small Jundi. Like that. So what if somebody, a woman's name was Jannah? So if you miniaturize it, you'd say Junaina. So Quraysh is a miniaturized form. The pattern of the word Quraysh is because it's a miniaturized form. We learned about miniaturizing names in obligatory knowledge. When we learned about the prohibition of doing that to the names of prophets. Like you can't say for Musa, you can't call Prophet Musa Muwaisa, then it means little Musa. You can't call Isa Uwaisa, so it means little Isa. So Quraysh is originally the name of a person. Yes. Then the tribe was named after him. after the Qirsh, but with a miniaturized form of that. So instead of Qirsh, Quraysh, small Qirsh. But the Tasghir form is not only for meaning small, it has different connotations. Sometimes means like beloved. Like, you know, that companion, his name is Ubay. We just named him actually. Ubay. That's small form, miniature form of Ab, small. Ubay means small father. Ubay ibn Ka'b. If you had a little brother, you could call him Ukhay. Yeah, Ukhay, my small brother, my little brother. But it might mean beloved, not necessarily small. You say to your son, yeah, Bunay. Oh, my small son means my beloved. So Quraysh is a name of a person, and this form of the name is a miniaturized form. That's clear. It's a miniaturized form of the word Qirsh. Qirsh, he says, وَهُوَ دَابَّةٌ عَظِيمَةٌ فِي الْبَحْرِ. It's a large beast in the sea. I know Qirsh to be a shark, but I don't know if it's a particular type of shark. تَعْبَثُ بِسُفُنٍ. This shark plays with the ships. وَلَا تُطَاقُ إِلَّا بِالنَّارِ. And it can't even be fended off except by fire. وَالتَّصْغِيرُ لِلتَّعْظِيمِ. And the miniaturized form in this case is for greatness. For greatness. And that's interesting. Imagine if a person's name was, maybe I'm reaching here, but imagine if a person's name was Little Scrap, because he's so scrappy, for example. Well, they put little on there, though. So it's not to belittle him, but it's like to give him some toughness or something. So his name's Quraysh, Little Qirsh. And so the tribe was named after this person, Quraysh. وسموه بذلك لشدتهم ومنعتهم تشبيها بها. And the tribe of Quraysh was named that because of their toughness. وقيل من القرش وهو الجمع والكسب. And it was said that Quraysh is named after the word qarsh, which is collecting and acquiring. لأنهم كانوا كسابين بتجاراتهم, because they were very great merchants, able to acquire a lot in their trading. وضربهم في البلاد, and because they used to stop in many places for trade. Yani, you need to know that Mecca is not an agricultural area, so they couldn't live off of farming. So how did they survive? They survived by trading, and they used to take 2 great trips every year. One to Yemen and one to the Levant. إِيلَافِهِمْ رِحْلَةَ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ. Their custom of journeying in the winter and in the summer. أطلق الإيلاف ثم أبدل عنه المقيد بالرحلتين تفخيما لأمر الإيلاف. So first in the surah, لإيلاف قريش, for the custom of Quraysh. The custom is not described here or given any qualifier. It's left open for the custom of Quraysh. What is that custom? It's not mentioned here. So it's open when it's first mentioned. But then the next ayah restricts it and qualifies it, tells you what And he gives you more specifics. إِيلَافِهِمْ رِحْلَةَ الشِّتَاءِ وَالصَّيْفِ. Their custom of the winter trip and the summer trip. So mentioning it the second time and describing it more precisely is تفخيما لأمر الإلاف. It gives more significance to this custom. وتذكيرا لعظيم النعمة فيه, and is a reminder for the great endowment in that custom. ونصب الرحلة بإيلافهم مفعولا له مفعولا به مفعولا به. Yes. وأراد رحلتي الشتاء والصيف. So what's meant here is the two trips. The trip of the winter and the trip of the summer. Even though the word rihla is one. Rihla. So the wording is saying the trip of the winter and the summer. The trip of the winter and the summer. What's meant is the two trips of the winter, the one for the winter and the one for the summer. فأفرد لأمن الإلباس. And why is it mentioned singular here? Because there's no confusion. وكانت لقريش رحلتان. So Quraysh, they had two trips that they would take. يرحلون في الشتاء إلى اليمن. In the winter they would go to Al-Yemen. وفي الصيف إلى الشام. And in the summer they would go to the Levant. فيمتارون ويتجرون. يمتارون, I'm not sure what يمتارون means. And they would trade. وَكَانُوا فِي رِحْلَتِهِمْ آمِنِينَ. And in this trip of theirs, they would be safe. فِي رِحْلَتَيْهِمْ. وَكَانُوا فِي رِحْلَتَيْهِمْ آمِنِينَ. And in these two trips of theirs, they would be safe. And you have to remember, we're talking about a lawless land. Not a land that has a central government and police and army. La. We talk about a land that even the Romans and the Persians, they couldn't come in there and conquer it. This is anarchy, the home of anarchy. But the tribe of Quraysh was able to move about safely. It's like what you call the Wild West in there. لأنهم أهل حرم الله. That's because they were the people of God's sacred territory. فلا يتعرض لهم. So no one would attack them or come at them. وغيرهم يغار عليهم. Others would be envious of them. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. It was said that they would go on their trips. If anyone would even just think about attacking them, they would say, we are the people of the haram, and then people would leave them alone. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. So let them worship the Lord of this house. الذي أطعمهم من جوع. The one who fed them and spared them from starvation. وآمنهم من خوف. And he made them safe from fear. He gave them security. والتنكير في جوع وخوف لشدتهما. And the jur, the starvation, is mentioned indefinitely. He fed them, sparing them from, not from the starvation, from starvation. This is not specific. And he gave them security from, not from the fear, from fear. So it's not specific. Because starvation and fear are intense. So they're left indefinite like that for their intensity. Subhanallah. Maybe, I don't know if any one of you has been hungry Yani, I'm not talking about just hungry, you didn't eat a meal for a couple hours. I haven't even been the hungriest person in my life before, but maybe some of you, if you didn't eat for a day or 2 days, a very strong feeling to, yani, that hurts. Or if you've been very afraid, you've never been very, very afraid, yani, it's talking about feeling tortured just in your heart from the fear. So those are intense things. Maybe sometimes you can't relate to something because you didn't experience it. So that's why I'm trying to bring it more to your understanding. والتنكير في جوع وخوف لشدتهما يعني أطعمهم بالرحلتين من جوع شديد. The meaning is that Allah, by their two trips, He fed them and He saved them from starvation, intense starvation. كانوا فيه قبلهما, starvation that they used to suffer from before taking their trips. وآمنهم من خوف عظيم, and He gave them security from great fear. وهو خوف أصحاب الفيل, which is the fear from the people of the elephant. أو خوف التخطف في بلدهم ومسايرهم, or it's the fear of being killed and captured in their own lands and being killed or captured in their travels. He granted them security from that. وقيل كانوا قد أصابتهم شدة حتى أكلوا الجيف والعظام المحرقة. And it was said that they had been inflicted with severe distress to the extent that they had to resort to, if not cannibalism, just eating dead bodies, eating corpses. GF doesn't say of humans. They had to resort to eating dead things and burned bones. So take out cannibalism if you look. حتى أكلوا الجيف. They had once, at some time, been in such hard situation that they had to eat dead bodies. والعظام المحرقة, and burnt bones. Allah Ta'ala, He blessed them so that they didn't have to go through that. وآمنهم من خوف الجذام, and He also spared them from the fear of becoming sick with judham, very horrible sickness. Judham is a sickness of the skin. Maybe it's necrosis. I'm not sure. I see in the dictionaries they translate judham as, or the ones that I've seen translated as leprosy, but I think it's not leprosy. Judham is a sickness where the blood stops flowing under the skin and then the skin starts to crack and crumble. It turns red, then it turns black, and then it starts to disintegrate. فَلَا يُصِيبُهُمْ بِبَلَدِهِمْ. This sickness would not hit them in their land. Allah Ta'ala spared them from all of that. وَقِيلَ ذَلِكَ كُلُّهُ بِدُعَاءِ إِبْرَاهِيمَ عَلَيْهِ السَّلَامِ. And it was said that all of that is due to the supplication of Abraham alayhi salatu wassalam. Let's stop there. Allah knows best.